Hey Soul Fam, how are ya? Welcome back to my channel, Spiritual Daosith. I'm Daosith LeMay. I hope all of you beautiful souls out there are doing great wherever you are in the world. And if you're new to my channel, welcome. Thank you for taking time out of your busy day to watch this video. And like I always say, if it doesn't resonate with you, leave it. These are just my truths and my experiences. They don't have to be yours. So we're doing the energy update for December 2022. We are at the end of the year, and what a crazy year it's been. And this month is probably going to be just like the rest of them. All right. Now, the general cadence of this video, I'll be a little bit more relaxed and less refined, partly because November was really intense for me, family-wise, home life, and I just didn't have time to really work through and reread a lot of the things that I wrote. So bear with me, and I appreciate your patience and love and support thus far. So November was a wild ride, and I'm sure for many of you guys it was the same. And mastery is what was called forth in the last month. And we're still kind of going through November here at the end. And there's still lots of stuff happening as I'm doing this video. And I'm wondering how you guys fared in your own life with regards to the world shaking and shifting all around us. And did you guys create with more reactive energy, or were you guys in mastery of your emotions and you had awareness and consciousness as you created in your daily life and set the tone for this month and going into the new year? Let me know how that worked out for you, whether you direct message me in email or Instagram or wherever, or leave a comment here down below. Okay, so the numerology for this month is obviously the 12, which breaks down to a 3, and that is typically social number. That is a number about understanding who you are through social, in social groups, etc., in relationships. This number is really around about other people and yourself, understanding who you are, and dealing with communicating with others. So it's about this diversity of life. It's more extrovert type of energy. It's creative, and it deals with a lot of emotions and experiences. And so for this month, a lot of that's going to be highlighted where I feel in your relationships. Not only in your more external, broady relationships around the collective work and probably networks that you're associated with, but really with your close relationships, I think is where you're going to have a lot of the impact. Because as we close out the year, the numerology of the 6 kind of kicks into gear, really goes out with a bang, right? Which is about harmony. And that really brings in this underlying tone when you combine the two of a 9. 9s are all about closing out. It's about learning all the lessons, it's having all the experience that you have, closing them out, and then moving on to something new. And because of the big 3 energetics coming in here, I really believe that you are going to be dealing with relationships, your very close relationships, and things coming up in those close relationships that many people haven't been truly honest about or haven't been willing to see, that need to come in, be communicated, which ultimately changes the relationship. Whether that be for the relationship to shift and go on into a more wholesome fashion, or the relationship needs to end. That is to be determined for whomever is walking their own path. But definitely something will feel more disconnected, more disjointed in their relationship, so that things can be looked at to come to an end, to shift, to change, so that it can go into a different direction. Unfortunately, I also feel with the closing out and what's happening, and more or less on a collective basis, but also personal, is that death is usually associated with that number, and I think what some people may face in the closing out of relationships is through death, and how that may catalyze you into a different direction. Hopefully that isn't you, but I just feel like death is probably likely going to be part of that. Okay. as I was writing up this energy update, I got a vision of a hummingbird, and I didn't quite know what it meant symbolically, so I had to look it up. But I think this kind of gives you an overall idea of the month and the energy from a very symbolic standpoint, from a very spirit animal standpoint. And it was seeing the idea of a hummingbird. And what I read about and what I saw is the idea of the hummingbird likes to spread love and joy. And it's very open-hearted energy. But also it's very focused, it's very intensely focused, and it's very dedicated to what it needs to do because it's on a constant search for balance and harmony. It's trying to help through that balance and harmony in open-heartedness. It's trying to really bring out the best in everyone. Okay? And I think that's going to really play a part in regards to the energies that I'm going to be talking about here around the astrology as well. In regards to yourself and trying to find this balance and harmony with you, bringing out the best of you, therefore that everything else can be mirrored via the law of attraction, that confirmation of how much you're working on yourself. But a lot of that's going to ultimately have to shift to reflect a lot of that dedication and focus and work and love that you've held for yourself, and allow yourself to spread that out via the symbolism of the hummingbird. Okay? Not sure if that means anything to any of you guys. Hopefully it resonates with you. I don't know. Take it or leave it. Like I said, just happens to be my stuff. And these don't have to be yours. So what events will happen via the astrology to help aid some of the numerology that I'm talking about and in the themes. We're coming into Sagittarius season, and Sagittarius really is more of a positive energy with a forward momentum look in terms of direction. If we were thinking about that from a hierarchical stance, you think about that with the figure pulling the bow back with the arrow, right? There's a sense of force. There's a sense of direction that's happening. And so many of us may end up feeling this more forward direction. But a lot of that is in the preparation as the tension of the bow is being pulled back. That's really, I feel, going to happen in the dynamic of our relationships. Things have to get closed out. That tension needs to be brought up so that the arrow can be let loose and shoot out towards the goal, to a better, more healthy relationship for you and the other co-creator, or you and the other relationships or the social networks that you belong to. So there's going to be this sense of this foolhardy hope and dreamlike state will be brought in. But to get to that place, we're going to have to deal with the tension of pulling the bow back. And that's going to come with some of the headwinds of a current life, which I feel will happen in our relationships. I was just in a podcast recently talking about how relationships, especially our closest relationships, are so important to us, and that you as a creator need to go all in on those really important relationships, because those are your best mirrors. They're your best mirrors to see the things that are hidden from you, to see the ugliness that you've been hiding from, to really understand who you are and how you're creating in your reality. They are the best mirrors, your deepest and closest relationships, because you drop your guard and you allow yourself to be who you really are. And through the tension of your relationships, the close ones, you get some real catalysts of change or balance or harmony or of movement to a more peace and joy in your life, because they bring that out of you. This is what I'm trying to talk about this month. I really feel many of you are going to need to focus on that mirror aspect of what's happening in your relationship, and we'll see how that goes along for many of you through this month. Neptune goes direct in Pisces on the 3rd here in December, and that's really going to bring up this dreaming and imagination aspect to you, and that will help you really get things more clearer as you realize the things that have kept you stuck. All right? The direct energy of Neptune is going to really help you bring some clarity, and then you're going to see, oh my gosh, things in my relationship that's held me back, or things in my relationship just no longer fit with me and they need to shift. are really going to come to the forefront, giving you clarity, and that will allow you then to move forward with more imagination and dreaming and visualization as you go forward. Because what's going to help this part of it is the Mercury goes in Capricorn, enters Capricorn on the 6th of December, and that's going to really open up communication that's going to be a lot more grounded and more direct. So many of us are going to communicate directly what's really on our mind, what's really important to us, what no longer fits with us. We're not going to sugarcoat things anymore, and we're really going to say what we want to say, whether or not those are, you're going to say things, and they're going to have an impact on the relationship. How they change and what they do, I guess that's dependent on your specific relationship or the people, everyone else's relationship. But that's definitely going to come up with regards to communication and who you are and specifically your close relationships. Maybe that happens in the work environment. Maybe that happens in the family environment. Maybe that happens in your relationship to the collective, but certainly more around your close romantic relationship. Okay, I say that too. This dynamic of decision in needing to make decisions because you're no longer wanting to waver between two different worlds is because there's going to be a full moon in Gemini shortly after, which is on the 7th of December. It's like you're walking two different energies. You're going to need to find this constant balance of harmony because there's going to be this need to explore intellectually. But what's also going to happen is this contrast and desire to take action and ask questions later, right? So there's this balancing act. And that's going to come into play with regards to the theme or energetic theme I'm going to be talking about shortly. Venus enters Capricorn in December on December 9th. That's all about relationships, all about love and questioning your relationships and your love and what's going on with that. That's really going to bring the things out that really matter. That's going to bring out the things that are important for you that need to be addressed, and how the relationship deals with it is going to be extremely interesting. There's going to be a new moon in Capricorn later this month. That's a good time to set your intentions, especially around the abundance in your life. I wouldn't say it's something that you take action on, but more or less to just kind of like sit and revel in that energetic energy, in that idea of visualizing and imagining in what it feels like to have the abundance that you're looking for, visualizing what that feels like for you and the relationship. And I wouldn't take action on that partly because of the numerology of the 9, the underlying 9, which is closing out and endings. You'd probably be best to really sit in that energy, really build that energy up, and then take action on that on the new year, especially since we're dealing with Neptune direct energy right now, later or earlier this month. End of the month, so Mercury goes retrograde in Capricorn. So this really will impact your relationships, especially around the household and your future wants and communicating. And I think that's just an added kick at the end about, hey, what it is about your relationship, miscommunications that's going to happen there, and you're going to fight through that through your close relationships and what other close relationships you have in other dynamics. And then we obviously move into Capricorn at the end of the month, and I think that's going to that's like the household, that's like the physical aspects, that's like the ego, that's like who you want to be. All that stuff's going to be questioned, and you are really going to speak directly to those things, and you're gonna find that there's going to be no BS, right? There's no BS around that, and you know what you want, and that's why I think the relationship is going to have your close relationships are going to have some tension in that. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. So we're going into the themes and the energies for the month, and the first thing I could say is there is a sense of decision making that is being placed on hold for a little bit, and that's partly it's being placed on hold because something is waiting for you to make a decision, a big decision. It's like you're going to be in your mental mind about this, and you're going to be in your heart. You're going to be caught between the two. Is it right? Is it wrong? Is this good? Is this bad? Should I do it? Shouldn't I do it? Lots of head games happening here. Lots of heart twisting here. So the key to this is going to be discernment for you and your highest good. It's going to be discernment for what resonates within you rather than taking on the stimuli of the world and what everybody else's opinion. It's going to be about going inward and sitting with it and truly understanding what's important to you, expressing those things, and sitting what aligns with that going forward. Okay, so it certainly feels like this karmic decision, life wheel spinning, and you can't go forward unless you actually make a decision. So that's why I said there's like this hold on it. That's why we're having the tension as we're coming into the Sagittarius, and it can't let go until you work through the social aspect number and the closing out of what needs to be dealt with. All right, because the second theme here is that love is going to be twisted upside down. Your relationships, your close relationships, your romantic relationships are going to be brought up, and there's going to be some questioning and rockiness happening with you and many of the others out there around your relationship. And I say that because of all the astrology, all the numerology, and what was brought up was obviously this Two of Cups in reverse. You're gonna add this little like tension to your relationship. That's all to help you organize and move forward in a better fashion for yourself. Whether the relationship has to end or whether the relationship changes, that's all to be seen. But definitely the relationship and our love and the aspects of that are going to be brought about. All right. The third theme is this identity of the healthy divine masculine energy is being highlighted here. And I think a lot of us are going to need to connect with our masculine energy, whether that be on the inside of the masculine energy within us or an external reflection of that masculine energy, which is in a male dominant energy partner. Right? We're going to really need to perhaps tap into that energy, which masculine energy, healthy masculine energy offers strength, stability, so that the divine feminine energy can feel safe to express. So now you kind of see, like, if that isn't balanced, you're going to have some emotional issues, communication issues, and there's going to be some tension happening there. I think this is particularly true for many of you coming into your into this year around harmony, in your authenticity. And the masculine energy, the healthy masculine, divine masculine energy is really trying to ask you to stand tall, be your true self, be authentic, voice what you want, and be honest about that. And if you don't have a healthy divine masculine partner or energy to help hold space for you to do that, or there's going to be some tension, or vice versa. Like if you're the male energy part, you really need to be able to hold that space for the other so that they can express what truths need to come out. And you need to be able to be mindful and healthy and strong in the divine masculine energy, that you don't take offense to criticism of what is coming up. All right. So you could see with this astrology, the numerology, and the things I'm talking about, the balance between the two things and the healthiness really is coming into play, and why now I'm realizing why the hummingbird is so important from the symbolism, for you to constantly find this balance so that you in the relationship, if you're a divine masculine energy or you're working with the divine masculine energy with somebody else, really need to be in a healthy place to be able to communicate, hold space for each other so that it can be expressed in truth, so that the relationship itself can then shift and see further out. To see further and clearer and have an idea of where the relationship needs to go, rather than the stuck, chaotic, disharmonious energy because of imbalances and honesty and truth and people not wanting to say what they want to say and hiding and lying, right? Or sugarcoating things or whatever, right? Because if you don't do that, and I feel a lot of us may fall for that part of it, you're going to find yourself emotionally twisted. You're going to find you're emotionally irrational, and you're going to be oversensitive to criticism. And it's important. It's very, very important not to get too emotional, or it's very important that you don't sugarcoat things when things really need to be said need to be said, no matter how raw and true they are. Sometimes they just the facts really need to come out so that harmony can occur and things can be transmuted, and then you can move in a different direction, okay? So hopefully that makes sense. The next theme around this, obviously, change. Change and transformation is all happening this month, okay? There is this sense that we are all seeking balance for us emotionally, mentally, energetically, seeking balance in our work-life relationships, seeking balance in our spouse romantic relationship, seeking balance in our home life relationship with children, and all the pressures of the world. We are seeking balance, and more change is inevitable to help us balance and catalyze us to find more balance in our life. And remember that these things, when they're occurring, are for your highest good, and you need to be able to find some introspective aspect to this of what's happening, which only can happen when you really dive into your relationship and see the mirror of what is being played out through the dynamic of what is being experienced, through the contrast, through the tension that's happening. And that will really help you deal with the change that's happening. Okay. On the flip side of the divine masculine energy, we have the divine feminine energy this month. And this divine feminine energy is a more mature divine feminine energy. This is where I'm saying, like, the divine there's got to be a healthy divine there's got to be a healthy divine masculine energy this month, because the divine feminine energy that's coming out is this mature divine feminine energy. This is one that, like, there is no gray. It's like black or white. It is like, there's no BS. You've gone through some stuff and you're going to say what you want to say, not because you have a chip on your shoulder, but because you're wise and you know who you are and you know what you want. And this hard edge, or this sense of the maturity in this sense, in this authentic aspect of this energy, along with the numerology and the astrology, is really going to cut into the relationship, and you're going to have to deal with some of that. You're going to have to deal with that, and I think hopefully, you guys really communicate well, and you guys are able to shift the relationship, and a lot of the stuff that needs to come up and needs to be said, right? It needs to be said, it needs to be cleared out, and it needs to end so that everybody can go on a new a new game plan, or a new path for a healthier, joyful, more harmonious relationship going into 2023, which I am going to tell you is not an easy year. It's not an easy year, and if you don't have that foundation in the shifts and clearing out all that stuff before then, I would say la vie, I guess. All right. So the shadow aspect to this month is that when you don't, when you aren't willing to look at all these things again, there's going to be this underside of the energy, which is this lack of direction. This lack of direction will have people feeling like they're stuck, like they're like a victim. They don't know where to go. It's going to be obvious if this is you. It's going to be so obvious as you, because you're really going to be like, I don't know how to move, and it's going to be in your mind. It's going to be in your heart. You're going to feel it in your body. You're going to feel like you can't go forward. You're going to feel like you're caught in this tug of war. And you really, to help yourself get out of this, you're really going to need to do a deep dive on yourself. You're really going to need to do a deep dive on yourself. And when the podcast comes out where I was talking about relationships, I'll put it in the community page here of my book, of my page, talking about going all in on your relationships so that you really can understand your attachments, the emotions that are coming up, why they're coming up, and to help you move through that, to make a decision so that you can get clarity and move forward. If you don't do that, if you aren't willing to look at these kind of things, you're going to have a blocked vision. You're going to be in this stagnated chaos, and you won't have any clarity. So it's just going to be this stuck energy that many people are going to find themselves in collectively in their relationships, in their social environments, but primarily in their romantic, close relationships. So, hopefully that helps you. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Also, feel free to follow me on my other social media platforms if you haven't. And if you're looking for a wonderful gift for yourself, for empowerment, to understand the practices and the things that I use to help find more peace and joy, or just understanding of who and what I am, go check out my book, Becoming the Creator, A Practical Guide to Spirituality Connection. I assure you, you'll take something from that and it will help you with your relationships. It will help you with you. It will help you with your understanding and provide you a deeper connection to who you are and what is inside you, which only offers you more love. So, I'll talk to you soon. Take care.